Good morning, Tori, Chris. I want to give you a quick update on your house, guys. We are making good progress. We have prepared your foundation to be poured. We did have one hiccup with the inspection. It wasn't because of any defect in the slab prep. What happened was our team that prepared the foundation to be poured, we call that slab prep, they actually took the plans with them, which the inspectors need to inspect the foundation. So I got those back from that team and we put them back in the job box. And I'm actually gonna make sure that they're still there because we have your lot up for re-inspection today. Alrighty, I don't think that I was able to show you this. I wanna each week give each of my homeowners a little bit of knowledge. Some homeowners have been doing construction for 30 years. They know more than I do, to be honest. And I don't know where your knowledge level is, so please don't ever feel like I'm insulting your intelligence. When we prepare a foundation, we want to do a lot of things. First thing that I do is I pull out the plans, and we actually have a page in the plans that specifically states what everything it needs to be. They call them details. So for every different part of your foundation, there's a detail, and we have to make sure that every single detail is done properly. So I pull the plans out, I get my highlighter, and I go literally detail by detail, and I check everything off, make sure it's done properly. Then I go to what's called Pulte Construction Standards, PCS. So Pulte builds very, very high quality homes, guys. There's the minimum standard, which is code requirement. And then some of our competitors in the production building industry build good homes too. But our standards are the highest in the production building industry. And so we cumulatively refer to those as Pulte Construction Standards. So some things that we want to see is we want to see that all of the drain pipes that are going to be coming up through your concrete foundation, we put what's called decoupling on those. That black wrap that's on all of those, that's called decoupling. And the reason we need that is because the concrete and the pipes with heat and cold, it will have a very, very minor amount of contraction and expansion. And if we don't do that, the concrete will be tight against those drain lines and it can potentially crack them. So by putting the decoupling material, which has a little bit of flex to it, that prevents that from happening. So that's the first thing I want to see is that. Then we have this blue protective layer. It's called poly. It's a vapor barrier. And what that does is it prevents water from wicking into the foundation from the ground beneath. And that can potentially cause issues with the flooring. So by putting this here, it's literally a water resistant or waterproof barrier between the ground and your concrete foundation. And then anywhere that we have a seam in the poly, we want to make sure we tape it continuously with a heavy duty butyl tape. Those are all the red lines that you see. Everywhere that we have a penetration, we put what's called a diaper. So it's basically just a square of that poly barrier. We put that down over the pipes, and then we tape around the seams of that, and we tape around where the diaper goes around the pipes. So that was done very, very well. As you guys are looking at this, you'll see a lot of pink. Pink is what we use, Pulte, to communicate with our trades. If it's a pink dot, it's good. If it's an X, it's bad. The X's show the trades where they need to fix something. I did not have to put any X's on your foundation. Our concrete team is very, very good. They did an excellent job for you. These areas right here, those are tiny footers that will support the pillars or the columns in the front of your house. All right, so after I've checked those two items that I just told you about, then I want to look at what's called welded wire mesh. You look at your foundation right now, and we have this grid pattern. What that is actually a metal wire mesh. And it does two things. One, it strengthens your foundation, but two, it helps to distribute the heat. I don't know, I would have to probably take classes to completely understand what goes on with the heat, but that is the second purpose for having that in your foundation. And then you can see all of these little dots. Those are called welded wire mesh chairs, and what they do is they hold that welded wire mesh up into the top third of your foundation. Your foundation should be a minimum of 3.5 inches thick. And then obviously where we have the footers, it's gonna be a lot deeper, 20 inches minimum. But we want to hold that welded wire mesh up so that the concrete can fill underneath and it's firmly embedded inside of your foundation. And then after we pour your concrete, we're going to cut what are called control joints in the surface of the foundation. And we cut those to 1/4 of the depth of the foundation. And if you do the math on that, if the welded wire mesh is 1/3 of the depth down and we cut to 1/4 of the depth, then we're not going to cut the welded wire mesh. We want to make sure that that's done properly, because if we do cut the welded wire mesh, obviously we're undermining the first purpose, which is to strengthen the slab. All right, a couple other items that we need to check are anywhere, I'm gonna have to go to this side to show it to you. Anywhere that we have drain lines penetrating the foundation, in other words, coming out of your foundation on the sides, we want to have an additional pipe, at least 2 sizes bigger, diameter 2 sizes bigger than the pipe coming out. And you can see we have that right there. So this is the pipe coming out here, it goes into the foundation. And from here, we have this additional pipe, and that provides a protective, it provides protection for the pipe inside of it. As we pour the foundation, we don't expect it to have any issues, but what that does is it helps to shield that pipe because it is a lateral pipe and there's gonna be so much weight. We want to have that extra layer of protection to ensure that there's no issues right there. All right, guys, and as we look around the slab, you'll see all of these little metal things. Those are called massa straps. And what will happen is when we pour your foundation, we'll actually embed those into the concrete. And then after we pour the foundation and we start framing, we will nail those into the bottom of the framing, and that's what helps to hold the house to the foundation. We'll also install a lot of bolts. We'll drill into the concrete and put bolts with heavy-duty plates or washers that will help to hold it all around the perimeter. And then if you look over there, there's some bigger straps. Those are the heavy-duty ones. So where we have stud packs, 2x4 studs, we'll have areas where we have anywhere from 2 to 6 stud packs. We want those in those locations, and those will nail into those stud packs. And those are extremely strong, and those are also embedded into the concrete. So as we start framing in the next couple of weeks, you guys will see that that's pretty much how we hold the framing to the concrete. Yeah, I think that's enough said about that. So guys, that's where we're at. I have your house up for re-inspection today for the foundation. I expect to pass. There's no reason we shouldn't, because every single detail is done properly. And with that, assuming we do get a pass inspection result, we're looking next week to pour your foundation. All right, it's pretty exciting. We're making good progress, guys. As always, if you have any questions, any concerns, any issues, please do let me know. One item I did want to tell you before I finish this video this week is you had requested, or we had talked about, a floor outlet in the house. And I believe Morgan may have communicated this to you, but I want to just follow up and make sure that you're aware. We were not able to add that for you. There are different deadlines for changes in the production, and that was one that we were past the deadline, so we couldn't do that one for you. I wish we could, but you'll see throughout the entire build process, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, I'm going to tell you guys what's going on, and that was one update I wanted to make sure that you got. Guys, I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you're actually getting a little bit of time to rest. Chris, I know that Tori said you have a crazy schedule, so hopefully at some point you'll be able to take it easy. Have a good weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.